project work. So, again, thank you for attending the ePermits OneStop permitting collaboration meeting this morning. So first, I'm going to do a few housekeeping items. We will be sending out any PowerPoints or the PowerPoints that we have after the meeting. We are recording the presentation, and there will be an opportunity for questions at the end of today's meeting. I don't know how the presenters will want to do it. They may want that same thing at the end, but they can address that when they're making their presentations. Also, I have a question for you, and you can either answer this question in the chat or you can just unmute yourself and speak. But we are wanting to know what software or applications for e-signing on plans any of you are using. I mean, some may be using Adobe, others may be using some other software. So I was wondering if anyone could either, like I say, enter it in chat, or you can just unmute yourself real quick right now and let us know what software application you're using for e-signing on plans. Okay, don't hear anything from anyone. So like I say, enter it in chat, and we'll get going with our meeting here. So. Okay, the agenda today, we're going to have some introductions, which actually I've already done. We're going to hit some e-permitting news. We're going to have a couple of speakers here, and then we're going to wrap up with some news about e-permitting updates, and then other topics and questions. So since our last meeting, Lauderhill and Sunrise have joined ePermits OneStop. Then that means that all the cities have now joined, and we have completed our recruitment portion of this collaboration. So because of that, and I guess when you complete something is a good time to kind of take a look and reassess where you're at. And so we felt like it was a good time to revisit where we want to go next and what we might want to do that would be the most useful things for you guys. And so I guess one of the hold on a second. Okay. One of the main purposes of this collaboration was always to open up communication and to keep the lines of communication open. And so between the cities and the county, and to learn from each other and what we're doing and best practices, that kind of things. And so that hopefully we can get collectively better as as a whole here. And so I think it would be a good time to do a survey. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because there will be a survey in the chat at the end of the meeting, and I'll also be sending a survey out after the meeting. And this will be a survey exploring how we can make these meetings more beneficial to you as we move forward. So, I really want to encourage everyone to take some time and to think about how these meetings can best help you moving forward, and how we can better meet your needs. So now I think we're going to move on with our first presenter. One thing that we're kind of interested in is to learn more from our customer, what their experiences have been with our permitting systems. We've kind of looked at how the experience has been within the cities, within the county, but we wanted to look at our customers' viewpoint of the permitting system. So we today are going to learn about the use of our permitting systems from the perspective of commercial real estate services. And we have Chase Culp, Senior Director, Office Brokerage of Cushman and Wakefield, and he's here today to talk to us on that very thing. So Chase, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you give us your insights.
Sure. Thank you very much, Michael. Hello, good morning to everybody. Nice to be with you all. This is my first time joining one of these calls, so it's great to see um, all the various folks involved, stakeholders from around the different cities and communities within Broward County. Little introduction about myself is I'm a commercial real estate broker with Cushman and Wakefield in our Fort Lauderdale office. So right in downtown, off Las Olas above Del Frisco's is where our office is. Cushman and Wakefield is the third largest commercial real estate services firm in the world, behind CBRE and JLL. We're kind of known as the big three, if you will, of the industry. So vast knowledge and expertise in the world of all things commercial real estate. Um, I am part of a team, so a four broker team that's based in Broward County that solely focuses on the leasing of office space. So my day-to-day job is working primarily with landlords and tenants, so owners of commercial office buildings and companies that want to lease office space from those investors for the use and operation of their business. We represent probably about 20 to 25 different clients, mostly on the landlord side. Although, as I mentioned, we do work with tenants as well. We have people in our office that primarily focus on representing tenants, or, layman terms, buyer side of the equation. Even though, again, these are primarily lease negotiations, not sale. I'm not a capital markets guy that is selling the buildings on behalf of the various owners. I'm the guy that once a building sells, new owner comes in, they hire me to lease up the office space in their building. And I'm primarily focused on more of the Class A, higher end, larger scale product type within the office world. So I have three business partners. We're a four-person team, and collectively we represent about 4.5 to 5 million square feet of Class A office product, primarily in Broward County. We do have some stuff in Boca as well, but again, 90% of our work is in Broward County. So wanted to talk today, and thanks for Michael for bringing me in. I think that the connection was made through Kristen Bishop that Michael works with, because I've been involved with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance. Some of you may know them. They're the economic development agency for Broward County. It's kind of a public-private partnership organization that works to recruit and retain talent and companies within Broward County. They work with the state of Florida to help companies who are looking to relocate into Broward County with tax incentives, recruitment efforts, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm heavily involved with that organization, and have attended some of their meetings, which is the Alliance Permitting Action Team, APAT, as we call it. So can look at that as kind of a connection to this group. So through that, I met Michael and Kristen, and I think it is a unique perspective for someone like me. Obviously, I'm guessing most of you are in the operations of day to day with planning, zoning, building permits, just all of the processes that are entailed as buildings are built and permits are issued, et cetera. But I don't think there's been too many folks necessarily on the side or the chair that I sit in that can kind of highlight some things we're seeing on the ground on a day-to-day basis as it relates to permitting. So first and foremost, want to thank everybody who works for our cities and our municipalities. Do a great job representing Broward County as a whole, as a place where people want to live and companies want to, hire and have jobs located. I think everybody does a wonderful job. It's a great place to live, and we all, I know I'm preaching the choir here, know that. But I think one of the challenges that we're seeing on the day-to-day basis is just some of the structural changes to the permitting process, and really the time that has changed as it relates to permitting. Kind of high level. Again, I'm not the person that's a project manager. I'm not the person that's a general contractor. I don't even sit, inside a company that owns and invests in these companies. I'm a third-party real estate professional that advises clients. So I can't speak to the very technical nitty gritty things, but I certainly know enough to be dangerous as I negotiate leases between companies looking to take office space and lease office space from my clients. But I can tell you that the biggest challenge that we see is just the time it takes to get a permit. Um, we lease space or have listings in almost every city in Broward County, downtown Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Deerfield, Pompano, Weston, Plantation, Miramar, Sunrise, Pembroke Pines, et cetera. So we have a lot of experience, and a lot of the feedback we get is from our clients who own the buildings, as well as the project managers and general contractors and architects who work with us as we work to get a deal done, right? So, example is Coca-Cola wants to open a regional headquarter office in Sunrise, Florida, right? They have 50 employees. They want to you know create a facility for looking for office space. We start going through that process. They identify a site, identify a building, identify a space. We negotiate terms. A lease is consummated, and then comes in the work part of the project, right? So the space planning, construction drawing, general contractor selection and bidding, and then the submission for getting the permit to begin the work. And I think the largest challenge we're seeing is the timing. So long story short of highlighting how this works is used to be, I'll give you an example, within the city of Sunrise, where there's probably 3 to 4 million square feet of office product located. It used to take somewhere in the range of call it 45 to 75 days. So, you're looking at probably a month and a half to 3 months max. That same process now is anywhere from uh, 5 months to 6 months. So the timing to get a permit has doubled. And I'm just using one example. Sorry if anybody from the city of Sunrise is here. I'm not trying to call you out, but just using one real example. And I understand that within the city since COVID, especially, that a lot of things have changed as far as staffing, hours that folks are working, days being open, review times, again, staff shortages, as I mentioned. So I know there's a number of hurdles that you all are seeing and facing with on a daily basis as well from your end. But again, I guess my perspective here, as Michael pointed out, is just highlighting some of those challenges that we see, because again, for us, we're selling the dream of a company relocating to your respective city. We're talking about how nice how great the city is to work with. We're talking about how great the individual building is that a tenant or a company may be looking at. So we're on the side that's really pushing a group to consider relocating from Palm Beach, relocating from Miami-Dade County, or even enter Broward County. There's tenants that are in downtown Fort Lauderdale that are looking to move out to the suburbs, right? Plantation, Sunrise, Miramar, Weston, et cetera. Um, so we're the ones on the front end pushing and highlighting why a company should consider being in the respective city and building. And when it comes to the build out process, a lot of these companies don't have a ton of time, a ton of lead time to get a project or to get their space built out. So that's the number one issue that we face right now in commercial real estate from an office perspective is the lead time. A lot of these tenants, they have a lease that's expiring in, Plantation. That lease expires in 12 months. They think they may consider moving. They want to save money. They want to move to a different geography because of where their workforce has changed over the years. So throughout that process, they're evaluating a number of things, and that includes the city in which they're thinking about relocating to, and how easy is it to deal with that city and the building, divisions. How easy is it to get a permit? If we're working with a high level landlord as an investor, we're working with a reputable, credible general contractor. A lot of the architects that we use are very well versed with the cities. You may know some of them very well. So it just can be frustrating when we're working to bring in new blood to a city or to keep an existing company within a city. But the challenges we face with timing of getting a permit has certainly been a very high topic on the list of issues that we see in the day-to-day world. So nothing much more to add to that macro level outside of our clients look to us to say, what is going on here? When I owned the building down in Broward County 6 years ago, it didn't take this long to get a permit. Can you help us understand? Is there something we can be doing better? What process is in place? I know this e-permitting group is great to bolster that, like your recruitment efforts to get people involved. But people are looking at us. Companies and investors of commercial properties are looking to us as an advisor to get some solutions or understand what has changed and what we may be able to do to better facilitate working with the various cities to get these permits done in a timely manner so that we can meet the timelines of these companies that are looking to take office space. So, I mean, that's kind of high level, long winded. I'm a broker. I could talk for hours. So if I don't know, Michael, if I kind of stop there and if there's any questions or conversational pieces that maybe, we can continue a conversation or not.
Yes, thanks, Chase. Does anyone have any, first of all, does anyone have any questions for Chase? So Chase, the big increase that you saw, did that big, I guess, was it kind of all of a sudden, kind of it kind of, or did it gradually extend, or did it happen right away? And did it was COVID that line, that demarcation between the kinds of times that you were seeing?
Yeah, I think it was more of a, I want to say more of a sudden thing, although I guess each city obviously is a little different. So it's kind of case by case. I'm talking in broad strokes, so forgive me if I'm not being super specific. Again, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, just trying to give some feedback and input. But I think it was a pretty sudden thing. I think COVID had a lot to do with it. Um, Again, the whole world was working differently after COVID, which is understandable. But I think it was right around 2020 when we started, 2020, 2021, when we started noticing that, there seemed to be a change in getting things approved and reviewed.
So does anybody, from the cities, that can anyone speak towards what they saw in that time frame as far as what staffing or different policies or anything else that were put into place that you think may have affected this? I mean, no one has anything that they saw happen differently or right around that time frame that you guys, whether it even had an influence on this or not, but something that was a little bit different from pre-COVID to COVID to post-COVID.
Hello,
Well, I
Michael.
think
Go ahead, Andre, if you want to, or you want me to.
go for it, Russell.
No, I mean, you touched on some key points too, and thank you, Chase, for that. And during the COVID, a lot of cities, including ourselves, did not have that that electronic plan review in place per se, and so we had to adapt on the fly. And yeah, there were some staffing issues as well, but we're learning to adapt and to make everybody, all these other additional cities that are on here, we all had to work out a way to do digital, and then all the hurdles that came with it, with the verification of the signatures and the signed and sealed plans, and etc. So and that's kind of why I'm here too, to talk about after this. I'm the next speaker on it, but yeah, everybody wanted to adapt and get the newest and latest software system, and with a portal that the public can utilize as well, and those plans won't get lost. Right now, we have an older system, and staff has to take an email, upload the plans, and some things are lost with that. So we see the need that to move forward and to have a system in play that helps the public as well as helping city staff to get these permits out in a quickly and timely manner.
Yeah, and I totally get it. And I think that's all going to help, which is great. And Russell, if you're with Hollywood, my team leases the Venture Corporate Center campus right there on Hollywood Boulevard, just west of the police station. It's a 3-building office campus right there that we handle on behalf of our owners there. I'm not as well versed in Hollywood. My partner, Catherine Ridgway, quarterbacks that asset for our team. So I don't know that I could speak to, their, y'all's permitting process. But great to make the connection with you and let you know we're working with some pretty big companies that are looking to take space there. And when you have those timelines and deadlines in a formal contract on the lease side, it certainly, behooves us and to a lesser extent, but certainly as important in some ways, the city, right, to have that company relocate into the city and bring in new tax basis and just potential new citizens. So great to connect with you, and thanks for your feedback.
Does anyone else have anything to add to the discussion? Right, well, Chase, I certainly appreciate you taking the time today to come and speak to us. Thank you for your point of view and your insights. I enjoyed it, and again, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
So we're going to head on now to our next speaker. So we're going to speak with the City of Hollywood now, and they're going to talk to us about lessons learned and experiences in changing to a new online permitting system. And here to talk to us today is Russell Long. He's the Chief Building Official for the City of Hollywood, Florida. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Russell, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Michael. Again, I'm Russell Long, City of Hollywood Building Official. And I was asked to talk to you about kind of like what I already mentioned previously, is that our software system. Currently, we're using a homegrown software system, BCLA, that was implemented in like 2005, went live in 2007. It fit our needs back then. It was a good system, but it's not up to date, meaning we don't have the portal. And so we, just before COVID, we did find a software system that discussed with us how to move forward with our portal system. And but they've never done it before, and it was something new for them. And we were part of like an early adopter program with them, and it had some issues. And so that led us to where we were last year. And the question was, okay, that one didn't work. What can we do? What does work? Where can we go from there? So we looked around and said, what's working with cities in Broward County and across the state? And we came up with Acela. Acela is actually being used by Fort Lauderdale and Weston, and I believe 1 or 2 other cities might have started it as well. And we said, okay, well, so we looked at Fort Lauderdale's. They did a demo with us, and we also went to Weston, and we were really impressed with what Weston did. Weston took the same Acela program, and they wanted to give it more bells and whistles, and they used the ePermit hub. And that's really what kind of sold us, is that joint partnership with Acela and ePermit hub, and what this could be. And I know that Michael, you asked at the very beginning, what software system are we using to verify signatures? And one of the key things that was an issue that Weston had was they said at the very beginning that you have a system that the applicant is putting in the plans into the system, so it's in there, but they didn't see the need to take it out of the system and put it in another system like Bluebeam, do the plan review, and then take it back out of that and put it back in the system. So that's where ePermit Hub came in to to be able to do the reviews inside Acela without having to take everything out. And I think that was a big selling point for us, because it's the little things like that that really makes a difference and saves time. Because currently what we're doing now is taking the plans out of our system or out of an email, putting them in the system, but then we have to take it out of our system to look at Bluebeam. And then you get that circle of depth that sits there and just circles, and you're waiting for it to upload so you can do the plan. That's wasting time that could be on other plans to move forward with. And so that's where we were with that part of it. And we decided to move forward with Acela. So we signed the contract in December, and we started the implementation in February, and we are looking to go live in August for the low-hanging fruit permit types. And so we did break it down into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2, with phase 1 having a little bit more of the commercial demos, commercial and residential demos, the fences, the windows, the door permits, plumbing permits, electrical permits, mechanical permits, the driveways, the roof permits. So that's going to be our phase 1, and that we're looking to go live with. One of the things in implementation that was impressed me with Acela is obviously the plan review part, that the applicant is going to be asked all these series of questions before they can even move forward. Like if they submit something for a re-roof and it's in their historical district, or a fence permit in their historical district, and they said, oh, I want to choose a chain link fence. Well, chain link fences aren't allowed in the historical district in Hollywood, so it automatically tells them you cannot submit a chain link fence in Hollywood in this little area because they're not allowed. Things like that helps the process, because today they will submit it, wait for the review, and then by the time they figure out that they can't do that, they've already wasted weeks and months. So there was a need for this, and we're looking forward to moving forward with it. One of the other aspects of that we found is the added information that Acela can bring. And one of the key points that that Acela brought to me was they said that, okay, you want to be more like Fort Lauderdale's and Weston, but those are older programs. I said, well, I thought that they were newer. Well, Fort Lauderdale's is like 2010, 2012 when they went live. Weston 2017. But there's a lot of new bells and whistles that Acela is coming out with, and one of them is how they can they are now connected to Department of Business Professional Regulations, where the applicant, we already know if their licenses are expired or not, and that is updated every 24 hours. So we know if an architect is up to date or not, and right away. So we're not, hey, do we check this or not? No, it's already in the system. It already checks for us. So that was a big selling point too, is that Acela is actually moving forward to better themselves as well. And I know Fire is looking at for that, for their licenses and everything too, for their contractors. So they're looking at all of that. So we're very excited about what Acela and what their possibilities can be moving forward with that. And the pay aspect of it, we are doing the PayPal, where everything can be paid right away. Currently today, we are actually processing the payments. And if somebody pays, they could wait. If they pay on Thursday night, and then, I mean, we have to go in there and somebody has to upload it. They have to change it, accept the payment, move and change it in the system, and then email all the permits and plans to the applicant. So in the Acela program, this is all going to be automatic. And so we're excited about that part of it. The phase 2 is looking to go live in December of 2025. So about a year and a half from now is the phase 2. That's when we'll do the high rises and everything else, and mostly all the sub permits, and with the fire permits, the planning and zoning aspect of it, engineering, etc. So we are looking to move forward with Acela and bring us into the next century because we are a little outdated, and I just see all the benefits of this system, and we're looking forward to going live with it. And I know that what we're also looking to do is with the violations and everything else, that when the applicant, not just when the plan reviewer looks at the plan, the applicant as well, they can sign on and they can put in the address, and it automatically tells them certificate of use if it's a commercial building. It's got violations on it, and etc. All the information is there, and you don't have to try to research it in another system and go back and forth trying to see what the issue. Sorry, our contractor's working by my window. But we are looking forward to moving forward with this. And all I have to ask, unless Andrea has anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay, so any questions for Russell or Andrea, and Russell too? You mentioned a little bit too how it taps into the state's system for checking on even the licenses of contractors and stuff and things like that too, or
Correct, and with the architects and engineers as well.
Michael, can I ask a question?
yes,
Robert?
absolutely.
Okay. Acela, that looks like something that I think Pinellas County also is using it. So that's another one that maybe you can check to see how it's working out. But what about the cost? What is the cost of this program? Do you guys know? Any idea?
Let Andrea answer that one.
Okay, never mind. You can give it to us.
Wait, no, listen, we do know this. Different cities are going to get different costs. It depends on how much you're going to implement of what features Acela has, meaning that if you're only going to do building permits, or if you're going to do zoning, or you're going to do code, and we're looking to implement all of those, and it could grow from there. So the prices did change. So it is vast, or it could be minimal.
Okay, so I don't know. I may have jumped in a little bit late on this, but Michael, did you address any connection with Acela with ePermits? Was that talked about?
No, not necessarily, Robert. In what way are you wanting that to make that connection, I guess?
Yeah, is that something that you guys might do, or is it going to remain two separate programs? I like the idea that it ties in with the DBPER to get the the licenses and check the licenses of the contractors, because one of the things that we want to do also is we're looking at ways to speed up some processes, and we didn't know how we would get access to say this is for Florida licensed asbestos consultants. How do we get access to their database, DBPER's database, and use it in ePermit? So I guess, Michael, we'll talk about that. I'm not sure if that's something that we could even do, but it's an idea that we have here to kind of expedite the statement of responsibilities for roofing jobs.
Hey, Robert, it's Phil McChesney.
Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Let's maybe discuss this offline so I can better understand what you're trying to do. So Acela is the counterpart to Posse. So right now there's not an intention to shift from Posse, but it's another permitting software, so it's similar to Posse. So But understanding what you're looking to do will help us kind of figure out if there's a solution we can identify.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And Robert, to answer your question regarding cost, we have rolled into Acela workflow programs from, it includes all building permits, building safety inspection program. It includes their violation compliance section, as well as the overarching cities code compliance division outside of the building code. It includes workflows from planning and zoning, workflows from engineering, public utilities as well, and I believe the fire department too. And so we're rolling it out in 2 phases. The first one focuses on, several of the smaller building permits, but high volume ones. And then we'll roll into the other ones over the course of the next year. And with a 10% contingency, we are looking at about a 5-year cost that is 1.4 million.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Russell or Andrea?
I do have a question following up with the license. Would that license search be based on your own database, or does it tie into DBPer?
It ties into department.
It ties it to the external department, DBPR. Russell probably has louder noise than I do in his office from the construction. But yeah, it ties in externally, and then that'll feed back to our system, so we'll know instantaneously.
Perfect. Thank you both.
Wait, no, Stephen and I just had a discussion about that. So the beeper does give access to certain parts of their database, we're assuming.
They do. Good morning, everyone. This is Dawn Ferdinand. I'm the project manager for the City of Hollywood for this project. They do have an API. So if your system, your vendor does have API capability, they should be able to plug right into DBPR. And that's something that you can, reach out to them directly. But they do have an API and that is what Acela is using to pull that back.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
And that's the same that they use for the Broward County property appraisal as well, so where that gets updated for all of our addresses and folio numbers.
And if anyone else has any other systems that have those APIs that tie in with external systems that you find or provide valuable information, I would love to hear about it as well.
Right, any other questions? Right, well, Russell, Andrea, Don, I really appreciate you guys putting together this presentation. Appreciate your time. And I guess we'll move on with our agenda. Let me get back to the screen here. Okay, thank you guys again.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, so next item is the Broward County e-permitting updates. This is for our subject matter experts that are on the call today or on the meeting today. And if they have anything that they want to tell us, I know Robert and Stephen, you guys have got some news about asbestos. And so anyway, it'd be a good thing for you guys to let us in on that. It sounds exciting. So and anyone else that's a subject matter expert that wants to give us any updates on their permits, well, this is the time for that. So.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Oh, sorry about that. Apparently it's not letting me share. So I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, and shared, hope, I don't know if that helped you or not, but,
Oh, there we go. Got it.
okay.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Should be able to see my screen at this point.
Yes,
Um,
we can.
So it's a pretty quick update. We just have some updates on single family residences, our webinar that's coming up, and legalizations as well. So to give you a small update, back in January 20th, I believe, we did implement a new change to our ePermit system with the SRA automatic approval for single family exempt properties. So as long as the property under Broward County Property Appraiser, that's a use type code 0101 or a 0105, which is single family or single family zero lot line, those will be automatically approved in the system. So the review timeframes have dropped from what used to be 7 days for those down to 7 seconds. So essentially, if you have any residents in your area that have single family homes, there's nothing, no more than 4 units in that property, those will be exempt properties for us. So as long as they apply, as soon as they submit it, they're going to get that approval. So they'll be able to give that back to you, the certificate. So when they go into the system, they're going to select single family residence as a type of facility. It's going to tell them that exempt single family residence is anything that's 4 or fewer dwelling units. They're going to enter their parcel ID or folio number. That's going to be what triggers that 01 code in the system, which we are tied to the Broward County Property Appraiser. And of course, if they don't know the code, they can search for it by clicking the link that's on the website. So they plug in the number and then they click here if it meets the exemption. So that gives them a straight pass through of all the tabs that are up on top with any details and just takes them to the signature page and contacts. Once they enter that information and they sign the application, then they receive the approval as soon as they submit. So that process is, of course, we did apply for a NACO award. So that's a National Association of Counties. So NACO did award us this year based on that change. It's a process that, as I said, went from 70 to 7 seconds. It's amazing for the customers. Most of them are shocked that that's even implemented in a government level. But essentially, it saved us a lot of time and we've been able to focus on projects that are larger projects, 2 or more structures at the same site. We're able to flag those along the way and be able to concentrate on bigger things that we have, like violations and things. In terms of the Asbestos webinar, you can save the date. That's coming up on Wednesday, August 7th. It's going to be at 2 p.m. We're still deciding whether to do it virtual or to do it in person with a backup of virtual if possible. But that is coming up on Wednesday, August 7th at 2 p.m. So we're going to have regulators talk about our process and, of course, any new changes that are coming up along the way. As we mentioned, we are looking forward to implementing some changes for types of projects, as well as connecting some of the contractor licensing. So there's different things that we're trying to implement now as we upgrade the ePermit system and the POSI system internally. So it's trying to help with the customers along the way and speed up the process. And of course, in some not so great news, we have had an uptick of legalizations coming in. So as you all probably know, is that we should be reviewing these projects before they start any work, not after. So of course, normally someone would submit their project. We ask them for the survey, ask them for plans, see what they're doing. Depending on what the project scope is, we ask for the notice of demolition if needed. But of course, these projects are coming in on the tail end. So by the time we get them, the work's already done. So essentially with the projects that we receive, it's already been completed or they're pretty much in the building phase at this point. All we look at is demolition. Then when the city then sometimes does approve these projects, we haven't yet approved it. We're still getting information. Sometimes we do request still that survey or plans because we have no idea at that point that the job's already done. What we request for on the state side, we ask for a non-notifier, notice of demolition or special renovation. That form essentially just documents what happened previously, and we notify the state of what's happening within their state. Because essentially we share information not only within Broward County, but with various counties throughout the state. So let's say there's any repeat offenders, any issues that are maybe some owners are having that they own multiple properties throughout the state. We want to make sure to let the state know of what's happening. And of course, we are having to pursue these cases under regulated enforcement. So even though that the work is done, we don't know what's there now. You're supposed to apply for these things before you start any work. So the statement has to be done previously. So by the time we approve it, the only way that cities know that if there is a clearance for asbestos is with a certificate. We've had a few issues coming up this year, especially, is that a lot of projects that had that survey and they had asbestos, and unfortunately, the work was done and nobody knew. So by the time, let's say, the city employee goes in to the inspection, the contractor comes in afterwards trying to legalize the job, all these people are being exposed to asbestos. And the issue is that as soon as you disturb this material, the fibers go everywhere. So it's really a safety issue that we're trying to address. So just keep that in mind that we're trying to do our best to address these issues now from the get-go head on, and then make sure that we have boots on the ground, so to speak, to make sure that to address it, because we don't want to have this uptick along the way. And finally, of course, if you have any questions, our contact information. So if anybody needs assistance, our asbestos help email is the best email. If anybody for some reason needs to submit an asbestos survey or notice for any projects that we may not have any record of, we also have our email for asbestos survey notice. And of course, our phone number, you can always call us, leave us a voicemail, we're not there. Get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, but we try to address them as soon as we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Any questions for Stephen?
Not a question. This is Robert, but just a comment. So, as far as the legalizations is concerned, I just want to make a note that while the project might have been completed, and we may see things after the fact, we have about 4 years to still pursue enforcement if the job was done in violation of whether state or federal regulations. So, and we plan to do that. We're just not staffed to handle it right now, because what we want to avoid is people going ahead and do jobs and then not do it. There's a way that's supposed to do it, and then get a contractor after the fact to clean it up. Because it doesn't basically means that the owner, operator, whatever contractor got away with whatever they were supposed to do. So we plan to pursue enforcement, because if we don't, EPA could follow up, or DEP could follow up as well. And so either way, it's going to be handled one way or another, whether on the federal level, state level, or our level. We plan to pursue that. And I think that's the only comment I have. Thanks, Stephen.
All right, any other questions for Stephen or Robert?
I'll ask a question for Stephen. It's Russell from Hollywood. Stephen, I mean, you talked about the safety, that you want to make sure that the safety and everything of the project, and that's why you were concerned with that. I have a few jobs that came through where I guess the applicant, mostly in commercial, isn't aware of the asbestos requirements. And instead of going to Broward County and just asking, getting that abatement form, they go out and get a survey, and they spent $6,000, $8,000 on a survey. And I'm looking at all the documents, and it all says that no asbestos is found. So for me, if I get that, that goes above and beyond what Broward County and your department is asking for. So I accept that in addition to not asking for yours. If I get that, I just go move forward with the permit, unless you're telling me no, I still need to get that abatement form, even though I have a licensed engineer or contractor that says that hey, they did all the tests, and it's a licensed company for asbestos that is giving me the survey.
Yeah, so they did go above and beyond. We do get a few projects like that. The issue we've been seeing as well recently, they've been falsifying surveys. So we're having to go back to the survey companies and verify they actually did these projects, because unfortunately they're falsifying not only our certificates, they're also falsifying surveys. So we've had a few cases like that recently as well. So yes, they did go above and beyond. You do have the paperwork to support that. We do get projects like that we would never ask for the report, but they did. Some of them say, oh, the city asked for it. The reality, the city's asking for a certificate, but they get that survey regardless. We've had abatement jobs that go through just for mastic. We wouldn't ask for any of that. So my biggest issue is that people are falsifying surveys at this point, and they're just copy pasting results and giving that to the cities. So we've encountered that recently as well.
Understood.
There's somebody with
I
their
think someone
hand
had a
up.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. Or well, in the meantime, so Russell, just from another perspective, both the Florida Building Code, Broward County amendments, and Broward County regulations require the statement of responsibilities regarding asbestos, and there's a reason why we require that. It's in long time ago, before we had the statement of responsibility regarding asbestos, there were a lot of violations and a lot of folks doing stuff that were unaware of what they're supposed to do. So Broward County, my predecessors wisely came up with this, step one, step two. Step one is statement of responsibility regarding asbestos. That doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just, and it gives folks, a chance to present what they're doing. And then, if it turns out that it is subject to the asbestos program requirements, then we tell them, well, okay, you need to do a survey, a notice, et cetera, hire asbestos contractor, licensed asbestos consultant, et cetera. But the program, regardless, any demolition or renovation of a project here in Broward County is required to go through the statement of responsibilities regarding asbestos, unless there's I think sometimes maybe there's a fire or something or some emergency, we can, we take that into consideration as well. But there isn't any project that is exempt from having to do the statement of responsibilities regarding asbestos. It's in the code, it's coded, okay? And so we're making sure that that's being abided by. If you have anyone who thinks otherwise, then they'll have to prove to us that it doesn't meet the requirements of the building code or our environmental code.
Understood. I mean, I did bring this up to Bora too, and they said that in this case that I need to get a clear requirement for Broward County, whether I need that or not, because they're like, we're on the fence per se. That they said they do see that state statute says I need it, Broward County amendment says I need this, but I do have a form, as Stephen said, it could be falsified, but I still have this this document and these 30 or 58 pages that clearly state that there's no asbestos found during the testing. But I understand your point as well.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, any other questions for Stephen? Okay, so do we have any other subject matter experts that have any updates for us? I know sometimes to see if you guys have something for DER, and then also, I don't know, surface water, any other subject matter experts that have anything for us today?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mike. This is Asif Ali with Broward County Development and Environmental Review. My update will not be a long one, and I don't have a formal presentation, but more bullets and points of reference. For those who are not aware in the call, Development Environmental Review is the section that reviews all construction essentially for Broward County, all 31 cities plus the airport and Port Everglades. We're the section that issues those 2 approval certificates for Development Environmental Review. Mike, is it possible I could share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
I see it now. Thank you. Please let me know once you see the certificates.
I think we see it.
Okay, so So Development Environment Review issues these certificates that every building department should be familiar with. This is called the Development Certificate, also known as the Transportation Concurrency Certificate, and this is the Environmental Certificate. So we do a development and environmental review. It sounds like two things because it is two things. So anyways, concerning updates, we have an effort of trying to make, as friendly for the customer and the public as possible. These certificates used to expire after 30 days. We've extended that to 90 days. This has been in place for some time, but probably since late last year. But I wanted to, since maybe some folks may not be familiar with it, we sent the notification to the building departments, but also wanted to follow up since I have an opportunity on this phone call. So this used to say 30 days expiration date, but now it is currently 90 days. So that's been a lot of positive feedback. It's more time for the customer to go to the building department and for other places to it gives them a little more breathing room for their process and for their approval time. So that's one update. Generally speaking, Development Environment Review reviews about 12 to 13,000 projects annually with a team of about 4 reviewers. So we do stay quite busy. So this 90-day extension is something that gives everybody a little more breathing room. The other update I'd like to mention is this is our Development and Environmental Review Certificate. This is an existing document. Sorry, if I can just ask for one moment, please. I apologize. Sorry about that. Just some background noise. Are y'all seeing the guide still?
Now we are.
Okay. So this is a Development Environment Review Guide. This gets updated about every year or two. Our recent update went out in January 2024. We sent that out to building departments as well. If you don't have a copy of that, let me know and I'd be happy to send that out, or Mike could get in contact with you. This guide is essentially a document that says what projects need development review and environmental review, and also what projects do not need development and environmental review, saving the customer and building departments and staff some time as well. So this document was updated in January 2024, and it has all kinds of useful information on it, along with our email and contact information and phone number as well. And that is our customer service line. And we do have a representative who's there to answer any questions you may have about the permitting process. So it's extension to 954-357-6666. Those are the major updates for Development Environmental Review. And thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Asif. And there is a link on the ePermits OneStop website to get to that guide that Asif just showed us. Any questions for Asif? Okay, we have any other updates from subject matter experts? Or do we have any? Or do we have any other topics to talk about, or any other questions? Okay, well, thank you. Also, Stephen and Don or Russell, please get me your PowerPoint presentations. Please email those to me so I can send them out to everybody with the post-meeting email that I send out. And don't think I have anything else for you. If nobody else has anything, I appreciate you all attending today. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I placed the survey in the chat.
Michael, I just want to.
Oh, yes.
I just want to.
Yes, hold on. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to bring up one thing too. Some of the from the first presenter that you had with Chase. What are we doing now to address some of the comments from the contractors, the developers, and the homeowners? And as everybody on here knows, with the governor allowing these insurance companies to cancel policies for roofs that are older than 15 years old, we are getting swamped with a lot of re-permitting application. So in Hollywood, we are doing same-day permits for re-roof permits for residential for now. We're looking into moving forward, and we're getting enough staff to handle all of those requests. And I know that just 2 weeks ago, we got an inrush of like 200 re-roof permits that came in 1 week. So we are addressing those, and we're making those a top priority in our way.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Russell, because I think some of the things, that Chase was talking about, again, just besides staffing, obviously policies and new laws and regulations really, impacts the staffing and the workloads and things. And it's all interesting to hear about. You don't always think about those or make those connections to those kinds of things. So thank you for that. And as Kadian said, everybody, the survey is in the chat. So please, again, I encourage you to take that and give us some feedback on how we can make these meetings better going forward. And again, anybody have anything else? All right. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.